Did you ever wish that you had step-by-step instructions to walk you through every step of the cleaning process while cleaning your house? Well, I've got great news for you today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, I am connected to the best and the brightest minds in the house cleaning industry, and today I'm going to introduce you to a new pal called Ronnie Starnes. She is the podcast host of a step-by-step podcast that walks you through every step of your home to help you clean. Now, I'll tell you a secret about Ronnie. She's also a mom of 6 kids, 4 of which still live at home, and she's a homeschooling mom. So she's got some great tips on how to keep your house clean and a little bit about how her podcast came to be and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. The most important thing I want you to get from today's time together is that you meet Ronnie and you become familiar with her podcast so that you can download it and you can start cleaning your house right alongside with Ronnie. She's about to give you step-by-step instructions and hold your hand. Please help me welcome Ronnie Starnes.
Hi, my name is Ronnie Starnes, like she said, and the name of my podcast is Clean With Me. I am a stay-at-home mom. I have a total of 6 kids, but I have 4 still living at home, and I'm actually a grandparent as well. I've been a homemaker for years. I've worked off and on, but you know how it is. A lot of the housework oftentimes falls to the lady of the house. So I feel like I bring a little experience to the table. The reason that I came up with my podcast is because I enjoyed listening to like Clean With Me type of videos, shows like Angela's show, and just things like that while I clean. I like to hear about cleaning while I was cleaning to kind of help me stay focused because I'm real distracted. And I really couldn't find a podcast that actually talks you through cleaning your house. So kind of what my show is about is I talk you through cleaning your house to kind of help you stay on task.
So this is an interesting subject. How did you figure out that the podcast was the way to go with this?
I just felt like a visual thing could be distracting to some. And I just basically created a show based on what I would want to listen to.
I happen to know how much work a podcast is. And so, as a busy mom and grandma, how do you find the time? You must be hyper organized.
I try. I feel like, as you add more responsibilities, you're kind of forced to get more organized. Sometimes I get up early and do it while the kids are asleep. To be honest, sometimes I record sitting in my car.
So, share with us a little bit, if you will, about how you came interested in the organizing space and some of the things that professional organizers don't want us to know.
There have been times where I've traveled with my husband on business and we stay in a hotel and I feel like, man, this is so peaceful because there's just not so much stuff around. And so I kind of adopt a minimalist approach. So I feel like maybe a professional organizer would want you to get more tools to organize your stuff when I'm more about kind of cutting back on stuff if it's more than you can handle. I feel like people have a different threshold of how much stuff they can keep track of. A lot of times, having less stuff is the way to get there.
So, how do you give yourself permission to get rid of stuff? Is it just stuff you don't want? Or is it just that you just don't buy it in the first place?
One of my big things is a one in, one out rule. Not exactly that, but the concept of I buy some new clothing or some new gadgets for the kitchen. And then I just kind of automatically think, what can I get rid of? And that's kind of what I do. Something's got to go when I bring something else in.
Now, does that rule just apply to you or does that apply to the other members of your family as well?
It doesn't really apply to my husband, but that wouldn't really go over with him. But I do gently coax him. Sometimes I'll say, like, I went through all my clothes today. Is there anything you want to get rid of? And my kids, it's kind of the same. I think I'm just showing them that by example because they will kind of naturally do that. So I think I'm just teaching it by example more than like imposing it because, people have their own stuff.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because I know that when I clean out my closets, I make sure that there are baskets of donation piles. And then I ask my husband, hey, if you're swinging by the store, is there any chance you could drop these off at the Goodwill or the Salvation Army on the way? He's like, oh, are you making a run? And then he'll go find things that he can add to the pile as well. So it's kind of like, hey, you got anything that you want to contribute?
Exactly. I have a couple bags in my closet right now that I'm kind of adding things to. And then once they're full, I try to get them out to the car, at least have them sitting in the back of the car for a while till I get somewhere where I can donate those.
And is there a certain routine that you do as far as organizing your closets and stuff? Is it like once a year? Is it just kind of on an as you go basis?
It's kind of as you go. On my show, I kind of do like a whole house approach where rather than hyper focusing on one area, I try to go into each room of my house. That's what I kind of talk about on the show.
What advice would you give for people that get involved in the middle of a cleanup project and then for some reason they either lose interest or they get sidetracked or they get busy and they never finish it right away?
I try not to do that thing where you make a huge mess that could be overwhelming and then you might not be able to finish it. So I try to do things a little bit at a time when it comes to like decluttering. Or how about tackling the project on a day where your house is pretty much in order? You've already kind of done your minimums and then you feel like you still have energy to go on.
I find for me personally, and this is true for a lot of the house cleaners that I've worked with, where there may be a day a month where they have like hyper energy and they'll either wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and they just start cleaning stuff or whatever. It's kind of a biorhythm thing, but they just get in this weird groove and they are just cleaning. And I reserve projects for that moment where suddenly I feel inspired for no apparent reason to clean.
I like that because I feel like that happens to me sometimes. That burst of energy, like I feel like cleaning today and I'm just going to go with it. Good point there. I agree.
Because you do so much cleaning, I have to ask, is there something that you don't like to clean?
I think the worst thing is sweeping. I'm still kind of in search of that perfect vacuum cleaner so that I'd never have to sweep again.
Walk us through your day from, you say that sometimes you do your podcast first thing in the morning. When is it that you find time to do your cleaning?
I only record the podcast once a week, but on days where I record the podcast, I will actually kind of go through the cleaning routine most of the time when I'm playing back the recording and editing it. And I will sometimes clean along with my show like that so that it kind of, reminds me what I need to do. And I'm able to just kind of, delete that, and then clean as I go. I homeschool my kids. So I try to get some housework done early on as far as just my whole house approach. And they help me too. Sometimes I go to lunch with my husband because I have a teenager that can babysit. And so that's kind of my break, if you will, where I kind of get out. Sometimes I'll just go out for coffee by myself. And then I feel kind of energized to come back and take care of the family. I do cook from scratch on most nights. In the evenings, I family time with the husband and kids.
What a fascinating woman you are to be homeschooling and to be cleaning and doing a podcast and all these things. This is just absolutely amazing. And I know lots of the questions that we get from homeschooling moms who want to know, how do you clean while you're homeschooling?
So it's definitely, a clean as you go thing. I do encourage that in the podcast. I kind of talk about getting caught up and doing all this housework, but the ultimate goal is to make your cleaning sessions easier by cleaning as you go. And, I do involve the kids. They help me out with the cleaning.
Is it part of their schooling to learn how to clean?
I guess I don't consider it part of their schooling because I think everybody has chores, but just what's different, they do a little bit of housework during the day instead of, an afternoon chore time or something like that. We kind of clean as we go.
Can you tell our listeners how they can find you and how they can listen to your podcast?
My website is cleanwithmepodcast.com, but you can really just type in Clean With Me into just about any podcast apps. I'm on almost every app. So just search for Clean With Me. And again, my website is cleanwithmepodcast.com.
All righty, and that is Ronnie Starnes. Isn't this fun? Now you can put on your headset. You can start cleaning your house right along with Ronnie, and she will give you the steps, the guidance, the information, the tips, how to do stuff, the instructions, all that stuff inside the podcast. So check it out. I'm going to leave links in the show notes so that you can just connect to all the different podcast apps and listen to it on whatever type of phone or device that you have. All right, if you found this helpful, please pass it on to a friend. If we've earned your subscription, please subscribe. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.